We made it, everybody. We made it. It's time to party into the weekend. So the market just sold off for like a minute and a half. Don't sell. You know why? It's a good day. Think about it. If you appreciate the fact that we're in the matrix, why care? It's all going to work out. All right, so I want to address the people that have been watching me, right? And my mantra, how the market never goes down. We've seen the charts from 1920 and all the things that you think make the market go down. We're at the point now, if you haven't noticed, right? If you haven't noticed yet, the bear markets become less and less and less and less and less, right? The quicker the recovery time between corrections and crashes now is astronomical. This one now has broken all kinds of records. We just rallied 41% from the lows of April 7th, and we have been on a relentless tear, as I've been trying to explain to you. That move that we just lived on our way to 550, and if you think it's over, we haven't even got to space yet, let alone outer space, okay? So the reason, and I'll admit this again, I'll tell you the tale one more time. Why am I bearish? Because I'm the only schmuck that watches TV, that goes on the internet, and I think because society, in my opinion, is breaking down, the hate levels have surpassed the love, and we're on the downslope of society. And that makes me bearish overall and sad, especially because I'm a father with 2 young kids, or adult kids now. And I'm sad that society seems like it's tearing itself apart, and I'm starting to lose hope in humanity. And that makes me bearish. But that shit don't work, bruh! The market doesn't give a shit about how you feel about society. I learned that back in 1991. It was called saber rattling. Where the hell's my saber? And by the way, the market is going down right now. Saber rattling. So the idea is everyone's yelling at each other, screaming war, screaming death. And the thing about it now is that you see it more. And it frightens the shit out of me. I've never seen, because at one point in my young life, you knew the hate was out there. You just weren't exposed to it. And now it's every freaking day. If you go on the internet for 5 minutes, you will not see love. You will see hate and awfulness and disparity and just, that's it. Visceral, absolute bullshit, right? Whether that be true or not, right? Because they've been talking about societal breakdowns for the last 1,000 years, and we've made it, right? But now the internet, because I live in a cave, my whole life is right here, right? And I'll tell you, listen, they keep telling you New York City's burning down, and right now I don't really care if it does or it doesn't. It's not. Since I've been warned about going to New York City, I've been there, got to be 20 or so times, and I'm armed, looking for trouble, right? Got my brass knuckles. I got my stun gun. I got my knives on my belt ready. I'm not fucking around, right? Literally, I'm looking for trouble. And if trouble was to find me, I'm ready. I'm looking for the hammer guy on the subway. I'm looking for the Palestinian uprising. Now I'm looking for the Iranian terrorists. And so far, so good, because the white, straight Jew, I haven't been murdered yet. So maybe those rumors of the city being this dangerous cesspool are overrated, because I've walked around legitimately, basically with my eyes closed and my headphones on, just waiting for someone to come mug me, and nobody does. So maybe it's all bullshit. Maybe. But that's why I'm bearish. I'm a societal guy. The saber rattling always frightened me. By the way, the market is going down right now. And we have sold. And the reason I wanted to make this video with you on YouTube is we got to where we need to be. 550 was the goal for today on May 11th. We calculated it, and we said if we break the new time highs, option expiration going into the holiday week, we'll probably be at 550. Where did we hit today? So, what did we hit today? 549.99. Where do you think we sold? We sold some up there. Just got stopped out. Not stopping out of the entire thing yet, right? Right? Still got some QQQ long. I'm not going to be completely insane because right now I'm still thinking of holding over the weekend, right? Okay. But if we roll over, I'll probably rethink it. But anyway, that's not my point. My point is, right? My point is the market just got to where you wanted it to go. We just rallied 41% off lows. I tried to explain to you what a power gap is. Maybe you just didn't get it. So let me explain one more time, right? Now we know why I'm bearish, right? It's not about the market. And again, wait, there's two reasons I'm bearish. The saber rattling, which scares the shit out of me, and all I see is war, death, and despair. And again, that's me, I guess, because I'm a pessimist. I look at the negative stuff first, right? Second reason I'm perpetually bearish is I was born into it. I worked at the worst stock price. I worked at the worst, corrupt, disgusting places you could possibly want to work. Legitimately selling fake stocks to victims. You've seen the movie, right? You've seen the movie. By the way, the Q short is actually working right now. If any of you psychos, my name is Francis Sawyer. My friends call me Psycho. I short the market in bull markets. If anybody's not shorting right now, I'll kill you. And I don't want anybody looking at the market in a bullish mode. Because if you do, I'll kill you. And I don't want any of you homos touching me. If any of you homos try to touch me, I'll kill you. Lighten up, Francis. Sorry, I have movie Tourette's if you don't know that. So here's the bottom line, right? We sold some Qs, we sold some more just now, and maybe we get out. But why would you get out, right? Do you think today's the high point for 2025? Do you really? Why? Just because we rallied 40% off lows? We haven't even got to space yet, let alone outer space. Right? Do you understand why I'm so passionate about these moves for the last 3 months? I've been a victim to this market. Now, I won't be a victim now because now this is now beyond irrational exuberance. We're beyond psychotic exuberance, right? And I look at that as bearish, right? Because I'm the only bear left, right? I'm trying to stay rational. The only way to stay rational is price. So if this market's actually going to sell off today, we know exactly what we're doing. We've sold because we got the 550. Right? Now we broke down under that pivot point, so we had to sell some more. And now the question is, are we going to sell the rest of what we got? Probably not, because the only time you really want to sell the rest, right, is if you break prior day lows. And if we're breaking prior day lows, and I mean yesterday's lows, if we're breaking prior day lows today, I'll give everybody $1. So prior day lows, let's see what prior day lows were. So look at 2-day chart. 2 days, right? So today's lows was the faux show, bro, where everybody loaded up except my son, right? Right? The faux show, bro, VWAP break on the Qs, the trade that hasn't failed in over 10 years. You might want to take it one day. It keeps working. So yesterday's lows, right? Yesterday, not today's pivot, not the 4 o'clock. Oh, by the way, the 4 a.m. low is where we hit because the market's rigged. Pre-market, after-market lows, no, not those. Not the prior day VWAP even. No. Wait, keep going. The pivot point from yesterday where we hit the prior day VWAP. That's it. And if we're below 541.50 today, well, first of all, I better be short something and making some money. I don't think it's going to happen. But that's one of the first lessons I've learned, right, about holding stocks. If you're a swinger or an investor and you're playing momentum, because that's what this is all about. This ain't about fundamentals, right? It's not about the earnings of the S&P. By the way, I don't even know why this industry exists. I don't even know why. I was trying to explain this to a friend of mine. Like, who pays you 20 and 2? Like, are you paying 20%? People are giving away 20% of their profits and 2%. So 22% of their profits for people to manage their money in a market that never goes down. And as a matter of fact, some money managers, actually, I spoke to the guy over at Merrill Lynch. I started to throw you under the bus. You know who I'm talking about. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. He said, my clients were calling me crying, begging me to sell. And I was like, and you're supposed to talk them out of it. You're the money manager. You understand the market's not going down. Especially you don't sell after the crash. You're a buyer. Oh, well, a lot of these people are over 60 and, they're getting nervous that their life savings is going to go. I'm like, so now your job is to convince them to buy right here. If they happen to be long already, buy the dip. Have you been watching the market for the last 20 years? Now, this guy's insane. So we're doing a live show right now. And I know wait, I'm going to bust your balls. Never call. You're like my wife. Never call me before 12 o'clock. Oh, look, he sounds like my wife now. What are you talking about? I called you before 12 o'clock. Oh, you're just crazy. All right, I'll call you back later. I see it. It's my partner, my new partner. My fundamental, wait till you hear this podcast. He's like the calm, nice guy talking about fundamentals and risk management. And I'm this psychotic day trader. It's going to be fun. We're going to be doing the podcast in about 2 weeks. That's why I'm not really doing the schmooze too much. The schmooze is now going to morph into this podcast I'm going to be doing. And then we'll take callers and guests, and it's going to be a lot of fun. What was my fucking point? My point is the market never goes down, right? That was my point, right? So the market, right? The reason I'm so passionate about how the market never goes down is that now I'm finally seeing it clearly, right? For the last 20 years, every time the market's gotten some volatility and we've gone down and we start to rally, I always say, all right, this is the little squeeze, and now we're going to roll over and go down. And we never do. So this time I was like, no, not this time. This time it's time to buy when we break out and assume we're never going back down again. That's been since 443.14. Remember the double top, 443.14? Then the 465 Trump high candle, consolidation break, right? So if we don't go, let's say, again, right now I'm thinking 572.50 on July. Because according to what I've witnessed, first of all, we don't go down the last week of June. We don't go down on holiday shortened weeks. And we don't go down after the no terrorist American holiday gap and go Monday. So that takes us to, so now here we are on June 27th, right? So June 27th, we'll go up probably, we'll close between 447.50 and 550. Maybe if we break the 550 today, we can tack on another 2.5, right? So 552.50, maybe 555 by the end of the day. Doesn't matter. We're going up on Monday, right? Just do the check. All right, no nuclear cloud. Bull market's still on, because that's the only thing derailing us now. Nuclear fallout coming your direction. Because right now, the only thing that's going to derail the bull market, you shouldn't be concerned about, because it's probably going to kill you, right? And the only debate is whether or not you want to survive the nuclear holocaust or, live like the Chud people and, struggle and, rebuild society and have to fight all the humans. You've seen The Walking Dead. I don't know. I'm debating. I'm prepared. I could probably survive 3 or 4 weeks down in my basement with my family. I got plenty of guns and food and water and freeze-dried shit. Maybe we'll survive 3 weeks. But then what happens after 3 weeks? We start starving to death. That's not any fun. I got to go out and kill my neighbor and eat them. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to be involved. But that's the only thing that's going to derail the bull market. So why are you concerned? Don't be concerned like me. Saber rattling? What? World War III? What do you mean? You mean the stuff that's going on in the Middle East for the last 4,000 years? That's what's going to derail the market? Yeah, okay. So we got this week, right? We got to the 550, right? Now we consolidate this gain, and then we go higher. So then what happens, right? So then what happens is that we have a holiday shortened week. We go up Monday. Tuesday, we're going up July 1st. Wednesday on July 2nd, we're going to pause. We're only going to be up 2 points that day. So that's around, so that gets us to the 4. So now we're at 557.50. What happens on Thursday? Ooh, Thursday, the day before the 4th of July. Oh, maybe we should lighten up our positions, Bill, in case something happens over the 4th of July weekend. Well, maybe we should put some shorts on just in case something happens, considering the market's at all-time highs. That'll be the thinking. And then Monday comes and nothing's happened. And then we gap up, power fucking gap. We power fucking gap on July 7th. The third power gap of your lifetime. Right? So July 7th, after the power gap, right? And then we just continue to crush Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to go July. If we get we might be 572 by July 7th on the power gap, or it might take to the 9th. Now, here's where I'm going to throw the curveball at you. I'm leaving. And the last time I left the country, we rallied every day, which was kind of weird because usually there's some little volatility in the market when I leave. I think we're due. So I'm calling for a market crash, right? But after another 25 points, at least on the Qs. So here's what's going to happen. So on July 11th, the market's going to gap up and we'll be at 575 around that time. And then we're going to roll over and we're going to break 572.50. And guess what we're going to do? On July 11th, we're going to break the July 10th lows and people are going to freak the fuck out. And the market's going to go down 2.5%. And then that's going to cause a little stir. And we're going to be down on the 11th. And then on Monday, July 14th, we're going to have our first big down day. And I'm talking like big down day. Like when we used to go down. And that's what we're going to, and then we'll see where we are on July 14th, because you know what happens on the 17th? That's right, earnings season. And then you're not going to give a shit about what the market's doing because you go back to being focused on Delta Airlines and the airlines, and then JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. And then we're going to be playing gap fades and dips and rips. And that's basically what's going to happen. So could I guarantee any of that? No, but you got to be in it to win it. You got to be buying and finding out. You got to be in it to win it. So how are we going to gamble on that? You know it. But Kenny, I thought you don't like buying options on Friday for the week later, but I am today. That's how bullish I am. Psychotically bullish, right? Got to be psychotically bullish. So by July 3rd, we're at 574. 572.50 July 3rd. No, sorry. 563.75 on July 3rd. We got to wait for the power gap. That's going to happen on July 7th. It's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. Because when we power gap on July 7th, oh man, it's going to be vicious. Because all the morons that are shorting up here, we can't keep going up like this. Sure, right. We can't keep going up like this. Right. You've been saying that now, what? For 2.5 months. Oh, we can't keep going. Sure we can. Because it's all fake. You get it? It's fake. It can do whatever it wants. It's not real. None of this is real. It's real when you make it real. So you got to be in it to win it, right? You don't got to put your life savings on this trade, right? But you got to understand, we're looking at 572.50 easy, July 7th or 8th or 9th, one of those days. So let's look at the 3rd. July 3rd, 5. The July 3rd 550s are 350. They should be $21 by then. So let's go out a couple more days. Let's go the power gap July 7th when we power gap. So let's go power gapping. Let's go power gapping. We're power gapping and we're gapping and we're going. So the 550s for 460 will be, so 550s for 4. If we get to 21, that's 5. And it's only 500%. Yeah, I guess it's a 5-bagger. I mean, that's the thing. See, when you break it down, you say, all right, it's only 5 times your money. We find 5-baggers every day. It's not even that big of a deal. You know what was a big deal today? I had 280,000 shares of NVTS. How are you feeling about that trade? I was feeling pretty fucking scared. Yeah. What? I started with 10,000 shares and it wasn't going my way. So I casually bought another 10,000. And I was like, holy shit, I'm about to lose a lot of money. And then it double bottomed, thank God. And I bought another 175,000. And then I bought another 50,000 just to get me up to 240,000 shares. And then I blew it out for a 12-cent profit. You know why? Because it's impossible to be wrong and long. I almost was. If it would have broke 650, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because I would be fucking I'd be sitting in the corner over there, bashing my own head into the freaking wall. Like I'm the only moron that can't make money in a bull market, which is usually the truth because I'm always looking for reasons to short. So you got it all. You got all those. You got all these. You got all this stuff down. You ready? Right. So, but the most important takeaway from this entire conversation is that today. Right. So this conversation is nothing new. This conversation is the same conversation we've been having since April 9th and May 12th. When we power gapped on May 12th, that's when the psychoticness began for me. This is nothing new. Man, Kenny, you're feeling pretty bullish suddenly. Suddenly? I've been calling myself the most bullish bear in history for a reason. This ain't nothing new. But now, everybody who thinks that there's going to be some sort of blow off top moment that it's just blatantly, that's it. That's the top of the market. Nah. Those are the morons that keep shorting up here and creating the short squeezes that keep us going. Here's when you're going to sell. When you break prior day lows. Let me know when we break prior day lows, and I will change my tune. Not a VWAP break on the Qs, not today's lows, not even multiple time frame. I want to see the market breaking the prior day lows, and I will change my tune. And hopefully that happens July 8th or 9th. Because I believe that the 11th and the 14th, we will see some selling. And right now, the market, I want to tell you, just speaking for what I'm looking at right now, we are in a mini downtrend. June 27th at 11:17 in the afternoon, we're in a mini downtrend. I know. But wait, the market's up 350 points. The SPYs are up big. The Qs are at all-time highs. Yeah. But right at this moment, this last hour, we are actually in a small downtrend for the day. Will it amount to something? Probably not. That's the game they keep playing. They show you something. They show you something that seems bearish. You get excited or mildly excited. Never get excited about being short. And that's where the next leg up happens. The market has to convince you that it's going to go down. It shakes and bakes. That's what the faux show is all about. So if you came in this morning, right, and you've been hearing, about how psychotically bullish I've been, and that the faux show bro VWAP break on the Qs since 2007 has worked 78% of the time and 100% of the time over the last 3 years. 100% of the time. And then you walk in and you say, I can't believe the market's actually going down. And then I say to you guys, you know it's not going to go down, right? Just wait for the faux show bro VWAP break on the Qs. And then it happens. That's how you make money. Forget this whole rhetoric of me calling for another 25 points on the Qs, which I'm probably going to be right about, but that doesn't matter. What matters is what happens Monday when you walk in and maybe the market's doing exactly. It's gapped up, starts to sell off. Oh, that's it. Or you wait for the faux show bro VWAP break and you crush again. So that's the choice you got to make. Do you hold over the weekend and just hold to July 7th, or just stay liquid? But if you're going to take the liquidity route, make sure you buy when you get the faux show bro VWAP break. Right? So if you get the chance, right? Let's say we don't gap. Let's say I'm assuming we're going to be gapped up Monday above 550. Let's say we don't. Or let's say we do. And we're up to 551 and a half. You're like, oh man, I wish I would have held over the weekend. But then you get the fade, right? The fade. Because the market started at 549 this morning. Right? And then it faded all the way back to 446.50. Right? And you got your faux show bro. Back to the highs of the day and then beyond. So that's the choice you have to make. Do you just want to let it ride or be liquid and make sure you get in on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday? But I'm telling you, there's going to be another power gap soon. And you're going to be regretting not being in. But then after that next power gap, what's going to happen is they're going to that power gap, that one, the profit takers will say, all right, cool. At 575, the profit takers might overwhelm the new buyers, and we actually could get a sell-off. And right around July 11th into that weekend to the 14th, I'm predicting there to be some selling right around that time. And now, once again, after I have these conversations with you, I say, does anybody care? Who gives a shit, right? Just own the Qs. We'll find out what happens in the next 10 days. Or, again, liquidity is the way to go. If you're nervous about this market, you see how each day you get a chance to buy in. But you got to buy in. You got to buy in. Faux show bro VWAP break. Yesterday was the number one. Yesterday was the king of all faux show bros because we held prior day VWAP on the show part. I mean, this is erotica to me. You guys aren't seeing. I'll show it to you. Hold on. Erotica. Who even uses that word? Erotica. Erotica. It is. If you don't get turned on by this chart, you ain't doing it right. Here, look at this. Hold on. Oh, you see that? Power surge. Oh, that's SRAD hitting new highs. See? Every time I start trying to do something, the market tries to stop me from sharing truth. You guys see the screen now? Watch this. So yesterday, right? Here's the faux show bro today. That's why you're long the Qs right now until further notice, because you know we're not going down, right? Right? There's your faux show bro. We're long ever since. Sold up here, sold some here, sold a little here. Not selling any more of it unless we break the lows of the day, which, again, that's not even a swing trading mentality. That's just day trading mentality. You want to break the breaks the lows of the day, probably get out. Prior day VWAPs down here. Yesterday's lows are way down here, right? So let me show it to you on the 2-day. You want to see something beautiful? When I was saying artwork, that. Do you get the tingles when you see that? Do you? Do you feel like you need to be alone with yourself when you're looking at this chart? I do. I might have to take a 5-minute break because that's all it takes nowadays. No, this is it. Right here. Why? It's not doing it for you? So yesterday was the last chance for any short to ever cover. Yesterday's lows are now new generational lows. What you saw yesterday was not just the classic faux show bro that always works. The faux into the show part, the show shakeout hit the prior day VWAP, not just once, but twice, just to say, I'll give you one last chance, you fucking moron. Get involved on our way up another 10%. Here's your chance. Oh, but we got up too far too fast. I'm waiting for another leg to shoot a job. NVIDIA's not worth this price. Iran, terrorism, earnings, interest rates. Right. All that matters. Matters nothing. None of that matters to anybody. Right? Caring about fundamentals is worse than caring about the saber-rattling societal breakdown. Nobody gives a shit about what the fundamentals or any of these companies are. 300 stocks run the whole thing. 13,000, what? I got 17,000 stocks. 16,700 are dog shit. That's why everybody loses money. That's why we trade the Qs, the top 100 stocks that never go down. And the crazy thing about the Qs, even when the stocks and the Qs are going down, the Qs don't go down anymore. That's what's so psychotic right now. The other day, we had some selling in the chip sector, and Netflix was having a hard time, and Microsoft was having a hard time, and the Qs were up 3 points. It doesn't even matter anymore. So yesterday's pivot, the faux show bro that held prior day VWAP, that's new generational lows now. Today, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that little pullback generational lows, but it might be, right? You just might have witnessed the last time you ever see the Qs ever pull back. Right there, 548.10 legitimately might be all-time lows now or generational lows. And by the way, if you guy out there, you're listening, he's like, well, wait till you see what are you going to do when the market gaps down 80% one day. And I'll say this again. If the market ever gaps down 80% overnight, 80%, if it ever gaps down 80%, I will personally give you $50,000 cash in $1 bills. And we'll just spend the whole day just counting them out. Because, if the market's gapped down 80%, I'm probably not going to be here to pay you that money. Because if the market ever gaps down 80%, that means the cloud of nuclear fallout has overtaken us. And you ain't getting that 50 grand anyway. So, like I said, 80%, 80%, 80%. By the way, I'd be buying the dip if I'm alive that morning. 80%. Oh, man. By the way, you want to talk more psychoticness? Mark Chalkin, what's this guy who runs the commercials about he's the only one that knows when to sell? He's the only one that knows anything about anything, according to him. On the commercial on CNBC, they run it every 5 minutes. What's his name? Harvey Chalkin? Mark Chalkin? I don't know. There's always one of these guys who says he's called every crash and every rally. He's never wrong, right? He's never wrong. So not only was he wrong, right? So he was calling for the end of the semiconductors, right? And I was calling for the new birth of the semiconductors. I was right. He was wrong. So he was telling me he was the only one who knew why hedge funds have been secretly selling out of NVIDIA. And I was like, no, he doesn't. And nobody's selling NVIDIA. Everyone's buying NVIDIA on every dip, and the stock's going to 250. So now he stopped running those commercials, right? So now his commercial, and like as if we forgot, they ran the commercial every day, every minute, every commercial break. Hi, I'm Mark Chalkin. I know people that I know Mark Soros. I know people. I also know when the market's going to rally, and I've called the crash and blah, blah, blah. So then he kept going on and on and on and on, right? And he was talking about how he's the only one who knows that Nvidia is going to crash and how the market's going to crash. And okay, sure, right. Trump came along and you had a crash, but coincidentally, he had stopped running those commercials and started running the commercials about how he's the only one that knows why 2025 will be green. And now he's predicting for the crash of 2026. It's insane. It's insane. As if we forgot. But you just told us that Nvidia was going to zero. The chip sector was doomed. 2025 was going to be an awful year. And now you're saying you were the only one that knew 2025 was going to end green, and you're calling for a crash in 2026? I forgot my point of that story, but he'll be wrong again. What was my point of that story? There was supposed to be an end to that point I was trying to make. I have no idea. I think my point was the market never goes down. Yes. Right. So it's funny, right? Yeah. Point is, market never goes down, right? So, okay, I think that was my point. If the market is ever going to go down, and again, I don't know if my mentor is out there, but one of the first lessons I learned of trading is momentum. Momentum on the way up. And this is all, I've had this conversation. It's worth doing this conversation again. As my mentor explained to me, because he would use graphic imagery. He called it the oil tanker. And he said, the oil tanker is going, the market's the oil tanker, and it's going one direction, right? And that's up. The oil tanker can't make a right turn, right? If the oil tanker wants to make a U-turn, it has to go up first and create a up move first. And even the butt of the oil tanker is still going up before it turns. So momentum doesn't make a right angle and then another right angle and head the other way. It actually has to make this big U. So that's the market. So right now, the only way to know that the U, right now, this could be, again, we're at all-time highs. We're still going this way. We haven't even turned, right? So when we turn, right, the bears get a little bit overzealous. Any pause creates people to start to freak out, but then we usually turn back up. You want, if you're really thinking about selling out, and dare I say, psychotically enough to short, you don't want to short the market right now. Wait for the oil tanker to actually turn and start heading the other direction, because then you know momentum is now in your favor, which is what this whole trading game is about. Right now, momentum is on the way up, and you don't get in its way, right? You don't get in its way. So when the oil tanker turns, remember, and we're still going up while we're turning down, we'll see that pause. But then why prior day lows are so important, you know the oil tanker has turned if we start breaking prior day lows. And the last time we broke a prior day low seems to be 2 months ago, because now all we do is consolidate and go higher, consolidate and go higher, and consolidate and go higher. And that's the trend. So if you know anything about trading, trading is what? Trend following and momentum. And then that's trading. Trading is momentum and trends. And then we got the number one indicator to tell us the strength and the health of the market, and that's the VWAP. So momentum, right? Momentum and trends and VWAP. And now you are in control of your finances. So pay me 20% and 2% to tell you that the market never goes down. And again, going back to that conversation, I don't understand why this industry even exists anymore. I don't see it. I don't see the industry, what we're looking at right now, hedge fund managers, mutual fund managers, financial advisors, worthless. Worthless. Now you've seen it, right? Financial advisors were actually not telling their clients to buy the dip. They were selling them out. So they did a bad job. Nobody ever beats the market. Hedge funds don't even hedge anymore. They're either select funds or they're called select funds now. The only way they try to beat the market is staying select. So they pick their sector. That's why there's sector funds now. So the game is people still think that they could pick their own stocks, create a fund to beat the market. Nobody does. But yet you're paying 20% of your profits and 2% management fee for someone to pretend that they're going to try to beat the market. Nobody does. And now with the accessibility to an ETF that does everything, right? You know the market never goes down. You know the market's always a buy on dip. I think the whole industry is going to crater. And within 20 years, there won't be a reason for this industry to even exist. The market's just going to be, we're going to control the market. The retailers, the retail traders, we're going to own it. And it's going to be awesome. And still, it already is awesome. But there's going to be a dynamic shift as they burn New York City to the ground, which I believe is going to happen, as all the landlords who have no rights, they can't raise their rates, they're going to walk away from their buildings and say, all right, look, if we can't raise rates, I can't afford to own this building. They're going to bail, and New York City is going to crumble. Rich people are leaving because there's no benefits there. The city's on fire, and New York City is going to burn. And they're going to shut down the New York Stock Exchange, and this whole industry is going to be dynamically different 20 years from now. And New York City is going to be a ghost town. And every building is going to be it's going to be like one of those movies where it's the end of days, like Land of the Lost, or what was that movie where Will Smith and the zombies and the green, you're going to see lions and tigers and fucking bears roaming the streets of New York City. I am legend. Thank you. And that's where we're headed. Like, who's paying, right? Now, again, when I launch my fund, it's going to be different because it's going to be a liquidity fund. I'm actually going to be a hedge fund. So if the market actually crashes, you won't have to worry that morning because we'll be cash. We'll be just participating in the moves for the day. And 90% of the fund will be in cash. And that's how I'm going to roll, right? And I'm not doing 2 and 20, right? I'm going to divide it up differently. How about 3 and 12? Or 4 and 10. How about that? 4% manager's fee, and I'll take 10% of your profits. Sounds fair? I got to pay my algorithm guy. $10.4. Good, buddy. There you go. That's what we'll do. 10.4. Right. 10% of your profits, 4% manager's fee. That's fair for all our hard work. Now, going back to the original story that we were telling, how the market never goes down and how we got stopped out of some of our longs, you didn't sell the whole thing, right? You're still long the Qs right now, right? Of course you are, because you don't sell it all at one price. You get stopped out of some, and you assume that every pullback is going to be a buy. You're not shorting the Qs, because if you did, you lost, right? And if you did again, you lost. So the point is don't, right? The point is don't short the Qs, right? So there you go. I just saved you a lot of money, right? There's the Qs right now, right? Every move down is a faux show, bro. Faux show, bro. Faux show, bro. Because all the market's trying to do is gain some moment, convince you that it's going to go down, get some shorters to go short, some longs to get out, and then they all have to get back in and correct themselves. all the way to 604 by the end of the year, 572.50. And remember, I said there's going to be a correction on July 11th, and we're going to have a sell-off on the 14th. You didn't ask, then what? Oh, then what? Then we go up every day for the rest of the year. And then after that 11th and 14th 2-day correction, we will then proceed to go up into earnings season. And we'll have some, casual chop on the Qs as we're digesting earnings. And here come the banks, right? Next thing you know, it's July 18th. And we've stabilized. And we go see fish, right? We go see fish for 2 days at the in Queens, right? And we talk about, hey, you see the market? Yeah, all-time highs, man. Cool, man. I love fish. Yeah, I love the Qs. And then we start rallying. And then by July 24th, 25th, maybe all the way to, let's say, July 28th, the market recaptures all-time highs, and it's on its way. 570, 250, 575. So then what happens in August? We go up every day in August, not one pullback, every single day, the 4th, 5th, all the way. Every earnings report is a blowout. Every stock is ripping. Every day in August, we tack it on and tack it on and tack it on. So that gets us to what? About 590, 595, right? And then we get to 604. 604 by September 5th, right? Sorry, wait. I got to wait. Sorry. On August 29th, there'll be some selling. Why? Because we're going to go into the Labor Day weekend, and morons will be like, oh, I better sell something here in case something happens over the Labor Day weekend. Nothing's going to happen over the Labor Day weekend. We gap and go on September 2nd, and we rip, and we rip, and we rip. Then you remind yourself, wait a minute, September is usually a weak month, right? So then September, we only go up 1% the whole month. Boring, but doesn't go down because we never go down anymore, right? So then after September, what happens in October? We rip, right? So now we're at 602, and we're probably going to tack on 10 more percent. So that gets us to probably circa December 20. Let's go right before Christmas. The Qs will be sitting around 620, 625. Don't sell. Don't you fucking sell. Whoa, what if we sell off like we did last Christmas? No, we won't. We won't sell off. And then it's July. I mean, then it's New Year's. And you're starting to, and then you realize it's a brand new year. And as January goes, so goes the market. We're going to tack on 10% to start 2026. So now we're at 685, right? By the end of January 2026, right? So why would you sell? So when the Qs just pulled back $1.20, right? And you thought that might be something, right? So when you think that, just take a step away from the computer and say, oh, wow, we just went down a whole dollar on a $550 product that just rallied 140 points. Wow. The only selling that would be significant is if we're below the lows of today, below the prior day VWAP, and breaking the prior day lows. So here's the caveat here for all this bullish talk, right? Inevitably, we're going to have some sideways action. So in that sideways action, it's going to be easier to retest a prior day low because sooner or later, the prior day low, look, the prior day low today is almost 10 points away. Chances are that ain't happening. Right? Prior day low. What? Right? Prior day low. Yeah, 20-minute chart. Prior day low. Prior day low. 5, 4, 1, 5, 2. Generational lows until it's broken. That's your price right there. So like I said, when we broke 443, 100 points ago, new generational lows if we break 445, 443.14, and we did. And I was like, all right, the next phase of the market, we have to get over the Trump high candle. And we got over the high of the Trump candle. Remember that price, right? 467.83. Remember that price? And then I said 467.83 will be new generational lows. And we had a little faux show, bro, and then it came back and then we gapped. That was the first trap set. And now the generational lows were that price. And then, of course, power gap, new generational lows. And then we tried to sell off, new generational lows. We tried to sell off, new generational lows. We tried to sell off, new generational lows. And just last week, we tried to sell off, new generational lows. So every sell-off are new generational lows until they break. And if you've been trading this setup, this idea, you're fucking killing it right now. Don't sell until generational lows are broken. And right now, generational lows are yesterday's lows. And by the way, you see that stock Rambus that I held for 2.5 years? Look at it. Look at it. I sold it on that last breakout, 52.50. Up 12 points since I sold. 2 years I held the stock. Now it'll go to 95 without me. Watch. By the way, SRAD. How many times I'm going to mention I'm accumulating the stock, right? That's like giving you Teldar paper when you walked into my office that morning. I bet you bought some Teldar as soon as you left the office, did you? That'd be illegal, Mr. Gecko. Yeah, right. So if SRAD takes us, and again, I'm giving a conservative approach to SRAD, 2 years, $50. 2 years, $50. Because our entry price, my cost average now is basically $25. So I bought 24, I bought 23, I bought 22.50. I bought on the way back up, 25, 26. I'll buy more today if it dips into the red. I haven't bought more lately. And I just said something that might alarm some people. Wait, only 100% in 2 years? Yes, only 100%. You guys remember the rule of 72? That's you divide percentages by the, I don't even remember what the rule of 72 is. What the hell was the rule of 72? Something about how long it should take for your stock to double. What was it? The percentage that you're expecting multiplied by 0.72? I don't know. I learned that a long time ago. Who cares, right? Stocks are doubling every day now. Like, I'm sorry it's not a core weave or a circle, but I'd rather the stock do what SRAD's doing if I'm going to own something. Consolidate, break out, consolidate, break out. Limited risk. Even here at 27.50, you're risking 2.5 to maybe 5. SRAD breaks 22.50, we might have some issues. So to me, right now, even at 27.50, you're risking 5 points, to make 20, 25 in the next 2 years. I'm sorry. I'm only expecting 100% return in 2 years. What was the rule of 72? Anybody remember that rule? What was it? The rule of 72? Right. 72 divided by the rate of return equals the number of years to double your money. Right. Okay, cool. Right. Thank you. But the thing is, with these daily options now, right? It starts to make you think that doubling your money, waiting 2 years to double your money when you could double your money on QQQ options on a daily basis. Right. Right. You can. And you should. Like today. And you should still be in the 550s, because if you got stopped out of the rest of your 547.50s, that's what the lotto play is for, right? So we still got the 550s and we're holding until the end of the day because we're thinking 555, right? Why not? Dream big. It's a bull market, right? So the 547.50s were the first things we bought. Faux show, bro, VWAP break, right? You get them in at 136, banging them out here at 191, banging some out at 205. Banging them out at 250, getting stopped out at 210, and the other ones at 186. Done. But you also put the lotto play on, right? So you buy the at the money for the day trade, and then the gambling was the 550, right? Faux show, bro, on the 550s, you're in from 33 cents. You sold some at 50. You sold some at 75. You sold some at $1. And now we're in the rest because we don't give a shit about the rest, because now we're just holding on. And look at that. So on that little mini sell-off, you could have got them cheaper than where I got them. I'm in at 30s, 38. You could have bought them here at 26 when you thought the market was going down. Oh, by the way, speaking of Trump talking, right? You know, there's no trade deals, right? There is no ceasefire. Everything they've been talking about on TV is completely fucking made up, right? There's no. Remember, he had, I got 200 deals ready to go. No, you don't. None of that happened. That was just lies. That was bullshit. There's no ceasefire between Iran and Israel. The war in Ukraine is still raging. So, again, nothing's really changed except they just clicked the other button to make the market go up now. Nothing's changed. There's no deals. The tariffs are still out there, right? That's supposedly still happening, right? You know, that war that's been going on for 3,000 years, it's not going away. They'll still be fighting. There's no such thing as a ceasefire. It's all bullshit, right? But the point is, when we move on, within 3 or 4 days, nobody cares about anything. And that's where we're at. We're in the nobody cares about anything rally. Don't get in its way. Don't get in its way. Right? Remember when they tried to make us concerned about the new AI? Remember that day? We came in, everything was gap down huge. Why? China came out with some AI that's going to rival ChatGPT. And what? And what? What about it? Is that going to make technology obsolete? No, that's good. More competition, more things are going on. We need some chips. Oh, I heard Taiwan's going to be invaded by China. Is it? It's been 27 years. They've been saying the same thing. Is it? They'll be saying the same thing next year and the year after that. You know what made a difference? Tsunamis. You guys remember the tsunami? It hit around Christmas time. I forgot what year it was, maybe 2017. That actually made a difference, right? And there were some real factories and things were wiped out. Remember the Sri Lankan tsunami? 65,000 people were killed, right? We cared for about 3 days, 4 to 5 days. And they were saying how the chip industry might have been set back years. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So just like every other moment in time, as I'm the nervous Nelly in the room, the saber rattling, the war, the Taiwans, the tsunamis, the holiday weekends, nothing's ever bearish. And when it is bearish, it's still bullish because we go back up. And now you could legitimately say, at this moment in time on June 27th, 2025, say it with me, we never go down. So the next time in 2028, when the market really crashes, because Mark Chalkin's not going to be right? He's the only one. By the way, that's the running joke on TikTok right now. TikTok and Facebook. By the way, how the hell do you get on Facebook? I see these ads are hitting my Facebook page now, which is kind of pissing me off. But every ad is the same. It's some kid standing next to a Lamborghini or with a little tiny microphone talking to another guy standing next to a Lamborghini, explaining how he's the only trader on TikTok or on the internet that shows his live trades. And they all say the same thing. There's like 24 of them now, at least. How they're all the first and only. There's some old guy, also a bald guy, old dude. He's saying he's the first and only. I guess that's the shtick right now. Meanwhile, that was my shtick back in 2007. First and only, right? Yeah. By the way, my new internet's working fine. I got the 2 gigger. I got the 2 gig. I got all new routers. I'm all ready for the next leg of the bull market. By the way, still buying silver. I don't care that the market's rallying every day. I still think silver's getting into the 40s. If we go to 40, we get to 50, and silver's going to 80, and it's going to go there in my lifetime. Look, I bought these little cute 1 ounce bars. They're so freaking cute. They're actually a little thick. You got the sheet. These are kind of cool. I mean, but I found these other little dudes. They're like mini bricks. They're fun. Like mini bricks. I bought a bunch of these. You know what else I like to buy? And if anybody's looking to buy me a birthday present, I like any coin from 1943 or 1843 or 1743, or if you want, 1643 Spanish doubloons. 1743, there was a cool shipwreck, and there's coins from 1743. I just can't afford them. These little gold ducats or ducats, whatever they're called. But if anybody's looking to buy me stuff, I'll never be mad if you buy me a coin. You want to see something cool? You want to see a nice one? I got an 1843 seated Liberty. Let's get nerdy. Let's get nerdy in the bull market. Whoa. You guys know about coins? You know about seated Liberties? You know why they're called seated Liberty? Because on the coin, she's got a little shield. Look at that beauty. 1843 seated Liberty. I was actually at a gun show. I was at a gun show buying weapons, and there was a coin guy there and a silver guy there. I was like, wow, it's like my wet dream. Guns and silver. Shit, if I could get a blowjob somewhere, this would be a great day. Guns and silver. So I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, you don't have an 1843 seated Liberty? He's like, yeah, I actually do. I'm like, do you? And he showed me this coin. He wanted $72 for it. I was like, bro, I'll give you $50 right now. He's like, done. I'm like, cool. So the seated Liberties, if you know about coins, you nerds, if you could see the word Liberty in the little shield, that makes it more expensive. You could sort of see it on this coin for 50 beans. Awesome. I got a seated Liberty dime where you could see the whole Liberty. Thing's worth like what'd I pay for it? Yeah, I paid like $600 for it. It's going for like $1,000 now. As a matter of fact, I don't even know where it is. That's kind of pissing me off just now I'm thinking about it. You want to see something freaking cool? The only concave coin ever made. And I've been trying to get it out of this capsule since I bought it. I can't get it out of this thing. Can somebody come to my house and show me how to open these fucking things? I cannot open this one. I don't want to break it. But this is a coin put out by Cooperstown. And it's a glove. And it's concave. The only concave coin ever created. 1 ounce silver, looks like a baseball and a glove on the back. Freaking cool. And I bought this, and I don't even know what it is. It's a peace dollar, but it's actually not a peace dollar. Usually when you buy a replica, it says somewhere on the coin it's a replica. This is like a fake peace dollar without the word replica, or it's like it's pretending to be a peace dollar, and it has no year on it. So if anybody knows what this is, I have no idea what this is. So I offered the guy $40 for it, and he sold it to me. He wanted 50. I gave him 40. I don't know. It's 1 ounce of silver. We tested it. But I've never seen a peace dollar. It looks like a real peace dollar from 1922, but it has no year on it. But it doesn't say it's fake. I'm in. I love it. SRAD, new highs. What's up? I buy a little bit of 5 ounces, little 5 ounce poured. I got bullets and squares and dice, anything cool. I got a big Thor hammer made out of silver. I spent way too much money on that. That was a dumb purchase. Grateful Dead, peace dollar, made into Bertha. Pretty awesome. So about 1943, I've got about, and thank you to Mike, my silver guy. He bought out a guy's collection. Every coin from 1943, he boxed them and sent them to me. So, and if you're wondering why 1943, 43 is my number. If you haven't noticed, it's been following me around my whole life, even since I was like a kid. And if you notice, 43, it's a random, non-random number. It's used in TV and movies. It's a random, non-random number. It's so random that it's not random. And if you notice, they use it in movies and TV shows all the time. People are 43 years old, room 43, 43 this, 43 that. It's interesting. And now that I've told you about it, if you haven't noticed, 43 is everywhere. 43 is everywhere. I think my new addition, and again, I'm no fan of Trump. And I'm becoming less of a hater of Trump lately. The ice is kind of breaking. I can't believe I just said that out loud, but check this out. It's a walking liberty on front, right? And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's the Gulf of America on the back. You can't see it. Oh, you know what else I'm doing later this afternoon? Rub and tug without the tug. So I got to go limber up. I'm the only one who gets like cramps while I'm getting a massage. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. There are spots on my neck that trigger my feet to get all curled up, and I start screaming out in pain. It's insane, and I got to warn the masseuse every time. Look, if I start to freak out, just grab my toes, bend them backwards, and it'll help. Yeah, it's weird. I got this weird trigger. That's what getting old's all about, right? It's fantastic. But I got to massage at 2. And, I assume by the time I get back from the massage, so 2 to about 3:15. So I should be back by 3:30 to enjoy the move that the market's going to go parabolic into the close. So listen, if we sit here and we consolidate in this $1.50 range for the rest of the day, for the rest of the afternoon, and by the way, 3 faux show bros today. The first one where I don't know why you guys weren't buying. test, new buy, faux show bro, new buy, faux show bro, new buy. So if you're still waiting to buy the Qs, now look, we haven't got to the highs yet, but we just flirted with them. So let's say we actually don't break out, right? We're past 12. Let's say we just consolidate in this wonderful 2-point range. What do you think is going to happen into the close? Seriously, are you nervous going into the close? Why? You think something bad is going to happen over the weekend? Why? What could happen? Right? So all you got left is Godzilla and nuclear war. Do you think either one of those is happening? If you do, sell. If you don't, you're probably holding into over the weekend. And right now, I'm hoping this doesn't happen as soon as I get off the air and I go eat breakfast. I'm thinking this consolidation leads to a fucking parabolic rip your face off rally into the close. So not only will we be giggling our asses off with the 550s, I'm looking at real lotto plays, right? So I'm bidding 551s right now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to sell the 550s. Screw this. Watch what I'm going to do. $550 sold, 554, 54, 54 sold, 53 sold, 52 sold. I'm out. Out. Why'd I just do that? I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to bid in. I'm going to go full-blown psychotic lotto. So now I'm out. I'm out of the Qs right now. I just sold the 550s. I'm done. Nice sell, right? We're out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bid. Actually, you know what? Now that I sold, let's go with the lotto. Let's stick with the lotto. I'm going to bid the 551s for 1,000 contracts at 7 cents. How much is that? That's too much. 100 contracts at 7 cents. 200 contracts. 200 contracts? Yeah, 200 contracts. 100 contracts. Yeah, 7 cents. What's 7 cents? $700 for 100? Chances are we're never going to go. Now that I sold the 550s, I probably just bottomed the entire market. Yeah, see, look, they're already back up. 8, 9. Anyway, if you want to go full blown psychotic lotto, 551s. If this market, and again, we don't need it to go down. If it just goes sideways for another hour, and if we actually get past 2 o'clock without ripping to highs, you're going to get those 551s for probably under a dime. Right? So I'm bidding 551s, 6 and 7 cents. I'll buy 100 at 7. 6. Let's get greedy. Let's try to go for 6. So 6 cents. And hopefully we get that chance. Because I'm thinking rippage into the, especially if we consolidate for the next 2 hours above the VWAP, but below the high of the day. Oh, baby. You know we're ripping, right? The market's just setting you up like the Nike short. It was setting people up this morning. Setting me up. I'm sitting there going, ooh, I'm going to short the shit out of this at 69. At 69.05, I was like, all right, let me do 200. It immediately goes to 69.50. I was like, whoop, let me take my $100 loss. That didn't work. And then whoop, rips 3.5 points. There must have been, I don't know, 3 or 4 million shares going in at 69, and it just did not want to break. VWAP hold, VWAP hold, VWAP hold, VWAP hold, VWAP hold. Spikes, comes back, VWAP hold, VWAP hold, VWAP hold, VWAP hold, 3.5 points. So I think that's what the Qs are doing right now. It'll spend about an hour or two trying to convince you that it might go down. Maybe it does, would be awesome. I'm thinking 551 lotto, got to be under a dime. 7 cents is the most I'm going to pay. Hopefully, maybe you can get some of the nickel. That's pure lotto right there. You want nickel option, right? You buy yourself 100 for 500, right? Let's say we get them at a nickel. I would definitely buy 100 at least, right? 100, $500. And then you go into your desk, call hope and faith, go get a blowjob or a massage, whichever comes first. right? Come back, and at 3:30, if we break, and again, this is a big if we're not above the highs of the day yet, we break 550 at 3:30 in the afternoon, we're gonna rip to at least 522.50, right? So that nickel option might be going to $1.50, and that's a $500 trade turned into 12 grand. Sounds good to me, right? All right. Now you got a plan, right? And, if you had 238,000 shares of NVTS earlier, buying 100 contracts is absolutely nothing compared to what I had on NVTS earlier this morning, like a psycho. Thank God that worked out. Seriously, thank God that worked out, because I wouldn't even be here right now. I'd be crying in the room. What do I do? I guess I kind of got lucky on NVTS, because look what it did, man. Holy freaking shit. If it would have broke 3 more cents, I would have had to start bailing out. And I would have taken a 28, probably a 3 grand hit on this dumb idea that I had. Whew. I mean, 3 cents away from getting annihilated today. It's so stupid. Looking back at this dumb trade that I put on this morning. Oh man. But that's what people say bull markets make us all geniuses. Yeah, I'm a genius. It held the low of the day and rallied. I'm a genius. Bull market. And if it wouldn't have held, man, shit. And by the way, I still own this stock. I'm very disappointed now, because I thought we had the breakout. So this stock is telling me it's not ready to go, but I'm not ready to give up on it. It's mildly disappointing. But you got to factor in the stock was $1.50, and it did go to $9. This is the consolidation phase. And I still think it consolidates and would eventually break out. And if it breaks down, we dump it, just like SRAD. No reason to be selling it. You just broke out of a month-long consolidation. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, SRAD. Yeah. Yeah, that's the ticket. Look at that. Consolidation break. Consolidation break, consolidation break, consolidation break, consolidation Trump candle, consolidation break, consolidation break. If this stock's not $28 and what's the all-time high? $28.85. How am I doing? I keep thinking this stock's only 3 years old. It's actually 4 years old, right? No, it's actually more than 4 years old. What the hell? This thing's been around 5 years? How do I not know this? It's like a brain fart. I can't get this through my own head. 5 years. There it is. So when did this come out? Oh, it's only 4 years. But oh my God. We're going to have to throw a party. It's going to be the 4-year anniversary of the SRAD IPO. September 1st, 2021. Let's go see SRAD IPO date. SRAD, Sports Radar. Had its initial, September 14th, 2021. You guys remember what was going on that day? Do you? I remember what I was doing September 14, 2021. What were you doing that day? I was smoking freaking mad spliffs in my backyard listening to Little River Band. That's what I was doing that night. Pretty much every night. Right? And on that note, I'll leave you with that. Maybe I'll just let this run the rest of the day. I'm going to go get some breakfast. You guys want to hang out, look at a blank screen. You guys remember that pandemic? Wasn't all that bad, right? Got a hot tub out of it. Smoked a lot of weed. Listened to the Little River Band every day.
If there's one thing in my life that's missing, it's the time that I spend alone. sailing on the cool and bright clear water.
I got sour diesel, by the way, Eric. OG.
Lots of those friendly people, they're showing me ways to go, but I never want to lose their inspiration. Time for cool change. I know that it's time for a cool change.
How's those shoes doing for you?
And now that my life is so prearranged, I know that it's time.
But you're supposed to be buying. Sing it.
Well, I was born in the side of water, and it's there that I feel my best. The albatross and the whales, they are my brothers.
Okay, so now I'm going to leave you with a trivia question. What is the only other song ever created that mentions an albatross other than this song? I'll give you 1 second.
Time for cool change. Time for cool change. So prearranged. Cool change. I've never been romantic.
The only other song, I believe, in the history of songs that ever mentions the word, and if you guys know the albatross, think about it. What song, other than this song, mentions an albatross? Come on. It's the only song I was ever able to play on the guitar, as a matter of fact.
In the rhyme of the ancient mariner, sees iron stops when a tree. Let's rise of the wedding business, laziness in the madness of the sea. And the music plays on as the brightness of light is cast the spell. The mariner tells his tale.
I don't know any more lyrics.
Through the snow and the fog of the albatross.
Albatross again. I learned that shit. It's the only time I ever played the guitar, right there. Now it's the part I can do. Anyway, if you guessed Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by Iron Maiden, you get a free month at my website. Wait. All right, here's the part. This is the only music. I'm gonna That's all I can do.
His eyes, the mariner, he wished he died. Along with sea creatures as they lay down on, so did he.
Sing it!
And by the light of the moon, he prays for their beauty not to. With heart he blesses them and God's creatures all know them too.
Here it comes.
Then the spell starts to break.
Here it comes.
Albatross falls from his neck, sinks down like lead into the sea. Then down it falls, comes to rise.
What were you doing in 1987? I was at the show. Suddenly I'm playing bass. All right. Well, YouTube's probably going to cut me off there because I am not Bruce Dickinson. Yes, that Bruce Dickinson. All right. Well, we had a little bit of everything today. A little faux show, bro. A little dip and rip, right? Little Iron Maiden, some Creedence Clearwater, and some Little River Band. And I'm not long the queues right now, and I'm looking to buy my lotto play. So right now, I'm freaking out a little bit because I just top ticked my way out of the queues. I am free. I own no queues right now, and I'm looking to buy. So 550. Oh no! What did I do? Oh, woo! Canceled that order. I almost had the wrong order in. Woo! I had the 552s. Woof! I almost got done. 551s, you moron. 551s at a nickel. All right, my bid's in. 100 contracts, 551 at a nickel. If it doesn't work, it's $500 out the window. If I'm right about the ripping to the end of the day, it's going to be a good trade. All right? All right. All right. All right. All right. You having a nice time? Good to see you. All right. All right. Good to see you. Hey, Fredo, good to hear you. How you doing? Hey, good. Good to see you. All right. All right. What are we doing here? All right. And we'll make it all back. Just keep betting against the Mets. Actually, that's over. All right. If anybody needs me, I'll be at the masseuse at 12, at 2. And then I'm going to a high school graduation party. And I'm going to be the crazy bold guy in the corner with my friend, watching his kid graduate high school. So that should be a fun time. All right. If I don't see you guys, if I don't see you, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm doing these midday shows. Hopefully you've been following along and watching. And you too would have been reminded to buy the cues every day this week. All right. My name's Kenny Glick. I used to be somebody.